I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think that Mark Carney is facing a little bit of an issue right now with his own caucus? Mark Nixon posted something here, and I thought it was very interesting, and I just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents on it. He says, more liberal ministers expected to quit before Christmas. Carney runs the government like a Fortune 100 CEO, no consultation, no debate, total control. And I commented on this. I said the fact that mainstream media is barely even reporting on the rumored resignings, and that 20 BC MPs are pretty angry right now about the whole pipeline situation, tells me that Mark Carney's popularity is taking a bit of a hit. At least a little bit of a hit. You have 6 rumored MPs. I think one already did resign, Guilbeault. 5 more are likely to resign. And now you have 20 members of Parliament from BC who did not show up the other day to Parliament. Now, Northern Perspective actually covered this in a video, and they showed David Cochrane talking to a liberal MP from BC, and their excuse as to why they weren't in Ottawa is because they had some important meetings where they all had to be there. And Ryan made an interesting point. Why did all 20 of you have to be there for this important meeting? I think it was some meeting like with deputies and sheriffs, so like addressing the crime issue. But why did all 20 of them have to be in that meeting? That's a good question Ryan's asking there, right? Backbenchers could have been in Ottawa, and that's the point he made. And it's like, yeah, that's a good point. Not one of the 20 MPs from BC showed up, and they're angry. Why? Because the people who vote for them are angry about this pipeline. Does this mean that the Liberals are about to lose more than 20 MPs over the course of the next month or two? No, probably not. But they could lose a few. There could be some resignations. There could be a floor crossing. Imagine that. A Liberal crossing over to the NDP. 5 or 6 of them do that, and then boom. NDP gets official party status back. And if those constituencies like the move, like say some Liberal crosses over to the NDP, and they like it, they might go back to voting NDP, as well as a lot of people from BC. And potentially Manitoba. Potentially Ontario, Quebec, out east. How many people supported the Liberals who are climate guys and girls, right? I know a lot of people who do not want pipelines. They want to address the climate, yada, yada, yada. And Mark Carney is supposed to be this net zero Canadian version of Greta Thunberg. But now they're like, well, wait, why do you want a pipeline? So it seems like he's pissing off a little bit of his base. And remember, his base is bigger than much more, it's much bigger than other Liberals have had in the past because the NDP took a hit, and the NDP voters mostly went to the Liberals. Well, this is the kind of stuff that's going to take those NDP supporters who went to the Liberals in the last federal election to go back to the NDP. Like the NDP is like, it's like woke everything. It's almost like a cult. But this is one of those things that upsets them. A lot of those people voted for Mark Carney. We all know that it's basically impossible for a conservative to win an election federally in this country if the NDP has no support, because the Liberals are going to have overwhelming support. And that's what we saw. And now you have mainstream media. I mean, David Cochrane mentioned it a little bit, but if this was happening to Pierre-Poilievre, it would be all over Global News, CBC, CTV, on every panel, every show. They'd already have 10 videos about it. But they only got one with Mark Carney? It's almost like they're trying not to be biased, but also keep it quiet at the same time. Wonder why they would want to do that. So with all that being said, I want to ask you guys a question. Is Mark Carney about to hit a major bump in the road? Is he going to lose a lot of his support back to the NDP? I think Mark Carney wants to call an election sometime between February and March so that the NDP can't really get their foot under themselves. But of course, he's going to have to get something done with Donald Trump or something else that's very productive, in order for his numbers to go up in the polls. I'm not seeing that happening. Now, Mark Carney is a clever guy. Maybe he'll think of something to trick Canadians again. But maybe Canadians are kind of starting to wake up to this. Hey, Mark Carney's lied too many times. He's not who he said he was. If he's going to start doing things conservatives were going to do, why not vote for Pierre-Poilievre? Liberals vote for liberals. Swing voters thought that Mark Carney was going to be better to deal with Trump. How's that going? They're not even talking right now. Carney and Ford keep pissing him off. Is this just a minor bump in the road? Or is this the beginning of something much, much worse for Mark Carney? He's trying to be some liberal conservative, which is a very tough balancing act in a very liberal country. He wants to do a little bit conservative to appease the swing voters who may be more financially conservative, but pipelines aren't going to cut it with people who are, woke or indigenous. It's an issue that they don't like. So, and then you have to ask, is this pipeline even going to get done? And if it doesn't, now you're going to piss off the people who liked the idea of that. And the people who don't like the idea of it are still going to get mad that you even wanted to do it in the first place. It's very tough. Unless you're bringing in results, you're not going to keep the support for that long. Mark Carney does not have the luxury that Justin Trudeau had. By inheriting a really good country in good shape financially, crime rate was very low. And then all of a sudden, Trudeau starts to screw things up, and now Mark Carney had to inherit a screwed up country. And then he promised to make things happen at speeds in which we've never seen before. That's not happened. I guess slow is a speed, but that's not what he promised. He promised elbows up, he's got elbows down. Let me know what you think. Is Mark Carney going to be Prime Minister this time next year? Are we going to have an election this spring, this summer? Please let me know your thoughts. It's very interesting what we're going to see happen in the next 4 or 5 months. So definitely encouraged to see your replies, your comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back shortly with a new one.